Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. I am Sam Sells. I'm going to talk to you all today about how I went from $30,000 to $30 million in 3 years and how you can do the same thing. I did not know anything about commercial real estate when I got started, and now I know that it is the most powerful tool potentially on the planet to skyrocket your wealth and create freedom for you. Now, you can follow exactly what I did in this lesson. I'm going to talk about that. But more importantly, I want you to understand that there's help out there for you if you want to get involved in this. You don't have to start in a place like I did, not knowing anything, having very few resources. And I want to dispel some beliefs that keep us from taking the leap, mainly because we were trained, taught, and educated that we cannot do this. It's not possible. So without further ado, let me share my screen and share exactly what it is that I did so that you can go and do the exact same thing yourself. So for the past couple of years, I've been teaching people how to buy their first $10 million of commercial real estate using other people's money. And then after they get their first 10 million to go buy another 60 million and 100 million and just keep growing and growing. So that may sound crazy to you. Numbers like that floored me. Buying a $1 million apartment complex seemed out of this world when we first got started. And now I wouldn't even touch that because it's too small of a deal. Like $1 million, I'm not doing that. It's too small, too much work. I can make more money somewhere else. So the best part of all of this is that not only will I show you how to buy a bunch of commercial real estate yourself, I will show you how you can actually get paid to buy real estate for other people. You can get paid to make money. It's the craziest thing. And once you understand that you can do this, like it's legit, and people have been doing it for 100 years plus, like this is amazing, folks. It's just flat out amazing. It's not a lie. It's not a rumor. There's, no glitz and glamour. I mean, if you want glitz and glamour, you can certainly do that route. It's lots of people have, but it's incredible how this tool works. So you're probably wondering, like, who am I and how am I qualified to teach you about this project? So here's my story. When I had been in the Air Force about 15 years, I began having serious migraines and sleep issues, most likely due to near constant travel around the world. So you can see right there, I'm standing in front of a um, airplane that's on fire. Top right, I'm in Africa. Top bottom, I'm also in Africa, different places. Um, I've been traveling all the time, and that created these migraines and sleep issues. So when one of the docs on base recommended I be separated from the military, I came face to face with the reality that I was not prepared to leave. Where would I work? Where would my family and I live? I deployed 4 times, spent more than 1,100 days away from home by that point, to include deploying and working in Afghanistan. Just a lot of stuff. I travel a lot of different places in less cool areas like sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, Caribbean, and so forth. In fact, that fire is actually in the Caribbean. We set a plane on fire there. Took some pictures and then went and put it out. It was awesome. So finally, I convinced the Air Force after they said, "Hey, we're going to kick you out." I said, "Hey, we're going to let you to stay in, but we need you to move in 2 weeks to Alaska." This kind of thing that the military likes to do. And all of a sudden, I had to pack my house, all my belongings, my wife, our newborn 1-year-old baby, our 2 kids, and move to Alaska, 13-day drive. And my wife was ready to kill me like death because we love Florida. You see how happy and smiley we are there. Um, in Florida on the beach. We just love, we have so many friends in Florida. So the 10 plus moves that the military had made for us, this one was the most painful by far. And on this 13-day drive to Alaska, where we had no idea where we were going to live, we had no friends, I resolved that I would never again be forced to move, that we would be free, and I was going to figure out how to do that. Now, what you didn't know is that I've been flipping homes since 2006, made it through the crisis, 2008 crisis just fine, because we were buying and flipping homes from a very low basis. $50,000 homes in San Antonio was a great deal 20 years ago. It's still a good deal, great deal. Now we were making money by buying old distressed homes, and it just worked out for us. And so I turned to real estate for the best answer, did all my studies on, you know, how to flip homes and the Burr method, and, checked out all these sites, learned about Brandon Turner and all these different guys of what they did. But what they don't tell you is that they moved on from single family real estate a long time ago. They only do commercial real estate, and there's a reason why. So when I found out about commercial real estate, I realized that out of 15 years of messing around with flipping homes, I never gotten there. And I need to do something radical and something different. So I convinced my dad and my brother Jesse to take massive action. My dad and I emptied our retirement accounts. 6 months later, we combined my paltry 30K and his 80K, and we bought our first mobile home park. And we purchased another one a few months after that, and it changed everything. And we're going to talk about exactly what it changed. You can see one of the units where you renovated there at the bottom, complexes, holding hands with a bean cook there or in Liberia when I worked for USAID, Office of War and Disaster Assistance during Ebola, telling young Colonel Lightsey where to build stuff. Great experience. Awesome. When I started, you probably think, okay, great. Yeah, you probably had your dad had $1 million, or you got a small $1 million loan from your dad, like a former president said. Look, I had, let's just talk about it. So I had never purchased anything bigger than a single family home before. I never bought a duplex, triplex, quadplex, nothing like that. I wanted to buy those things. They always seemed like too much money and out of my reach. I did not go to school for real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate other than what we did and what we learned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the books that you read and YouTube videos and so forth. My dad was broke. In fact, he had just gotten laid off. He's 65 years old at $85,000 total in his 401k, which is nothing. Nothing. How long would that last you in retirement? Not very long. And frankly, I got to $30,000 during that 6 months of really, really building on what I already had and so forth. But it was embarrassing to say your entire retirement for me was $30,000 after I've been flipping homes for 12 years. Like, that's embarrassing. The stark reality was I was in danger of losing my job in the military. Retirement was a few years away. My dad was 65 years old, just been laid off. Necessity drove us. And we knew if we didn't do something right away, we were going to live a financially poor life forever. We had to take massive action. But before we could take massive action, I had to get rid of some of those limiting beliefs that I had. And most likely, you probably suffer from these same limiting beliefs. These beliefs we suffer from are not our fault. This is what our society currently teaches us in our education system. It's just what it is. You do not need to have a bunch of money in your bank. You don't need to have a daddy who has a ton of money or a rich uncle. I mean, that helps, but if you don't, you can still do it. I did it. You don't need a fancy degree from Harvard or Yale or something like that to become rich. Certainly helps, but you don't need that. You don't even need a degree. In fact, I've not been, I mean, I tell people I've got a master's degree, but what does that have to do with real estate? Nothing. You don't even have to be good looking or charismatic like Denzel Washington, or pick your favorite actress or actor. You don't need to look like them or act like them. You just need to be yourself. And you don't even need to wait for good market conditions. Right now, a lot of people are like, oh, the market's terrible. And I'm thinking the market is fantastic. We're seeing some great deals finally again. And we're moving on those things because we look at the market differently. You don't need all these things. They're in our heads. We believe that that's what we need, but we don't. So let me tell you a few secrets to further help dispel the belief. You can create passive income to retire for the rest of your life with just a few properties. You don't even have to do what I'm talking about, going up to 70 million or $100 million or $30 million. Just a few properties. Instead of buying 100 single family homes, why not buy one or two commercial properties and get there and then stop? You can certainly do that. If you want to create a big business, and then great, you can do that. If you want to just keep it small, great, do that. Secret number 2, you don't personally have to have any money. It helps for sure, but you don't have to have money. You do not need to be wealthy before you begin. My net worth was ugly when I started. In fact, I wasn't entirely sure how to calculate my net worth when I got started. So the first time that bank asked me, what's your net worth? Can you send me your statement, your personal financial statement? I was like, how do I do this? Unfortunately, somebody felt bad for me and sent me a personal financial statement document that I was able to just fill out. And I almost cried because I'm like, I'm not worth much. Right. I kept hearing that you can make all this money in commercial real estate, even when I learned about it, but I thought I had to have money to begin with. I was wrong. I now know how to go from $0 in the bank to making 200,000 plus a year in commercial real estate and then create millions of dollars in net worth in a very short time. Not only do I know this, I teach people how to do this not every single day, but all the time, every week. It's about following the framework and employing the right systems in place to achieve success in whatever path you choose that you feel is best for you. And secret number 3, you don't need to be a salesman, fancy, look like $1 million to be successful. Look at me. I'm a slightly pudgy 40-something-year-old with a graying beard. I'm not going to make the front page of any magazine. I also didn't take a bunch of sales courses, and I didn't work for a multi-level marketing company. I didn't go and sell all my friends and my family on some whiz-bang gadget or gizmo, right? What we have to be is really authentic. Be who you are. That's what really matters. If you go on your socials right now and say, hey, everyone, I'm starting my journey to success in commercial real estate, wish me luck. You're going to get a lot of support. People out there love you, support you, and they're going to want you to be successful. You just need to be you. And for me, I wanted to build a legacy of wealth and impact. And the secret is you can actually do that. I just didn't think I could do that. I grew up poor. My family was poor. Their parents were poor. Their parents were poor. We've been poor for generations, right? We immigrated from Europe over to America. They were poor. They were just poor, runs in our veins. When I say poor, when I was little, we took baths in a horse trough because we didn't have running water. Grew up in rural Oklahoma. Went to rural Oklahoma public schools, hung out with the Native Americans and me. We just did our thing and had fun and chased animals and cows and everything else like little kids do in rural Oklahoma. That was my life. You just need to be you. You don't need to be anything different. You don't need to be fake. You don't need to fake it till you make it. You need to be you because you can build a legacy of wealth and impact. To do that, you have to create massive cash flow, and it ain't going to be from your job unless you're NFL or NBA, and then it's only going to be while you're there unless you do sponsorships and blah, 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 right? And I'm talking about us regular folks who I'm 5'7". I was never going to be a professional athlete at anything. And so what road was there to that goal? Like, how would I ever create massive wealth and impact? It just wasn't going to happen. So how did I do it? So when we started, we didn't have the formula for success. There wasn't a simple framework out there to follow. In fact, I didn't know anything about commercial real estate other than that it existed. And I started to notice like, hey, there's an apartment complex or a mobile home park. I want to own that stuff. I want to get rich, making a difference. But now I know all of these things, and I'm going to teach you what has been held a secret for a long time. And I'm going to teach you the exact steps I went through so that you can do the same thing without ever talking to me again, if that's what you want to do. But I think you're going to do a lot better. I know you're going to do better if you do talk to me. I'll show you how to buy $30 million of real estate in 3 years and walk away from your day job. You can decide if you want to keep going and build an empire or keep it simple and never, ever work for someone again. I can teach this because I did it and I've helped many other people do it. Now, to be fair and honest, many of the people who we work with commit fully, take massive action, and leave their careers behind in less than a year. I'm not teaching that. I'm teaching a 3-year plan. In reality, I've seen people do this in 6 months. We'll tell you some of those stories. Those who move the fastest are typically real estate agents or brokers or retiring military personnel, people who are incredibly motivated and already have some knowledge of the real estate market. That helps greatly, but you don't have to be that person. You just need to move. Take massive action. While some have made the transition in 6 months or less, that is not typical. It's really up to you. I didn't leave the military until I was comfortably making $15,000 a month from the properties, and that took me about a year and a half. But I was aggressive and I was all in. So this is exactly what I did. So rewind back to 2018. I'm driving up to Alaska and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the world's about to end. I've got to change my life or else I'm going to be stuck and not be able to leave the military. I do not want to wait 5 years. Who knows if the military is going to get rid of me. So what I did was I went and I learned every single thing I could about commercial real estate. And then I drilled in and realized I could not buy an apartment complex because I did not have $300,000 or 500 grand. So then I focused on mobile home parks and the numbers astounded me. Way better returns on mobile home parks than on apartment complexes, just less sexy. So I went to YouTube University, where you learn everything, but most of it's not even right. So I went to YouTube University. I started listening to podcasts. I got books. I realized there wasn't much else out there. So I learned and learned and learned as much as I could. When you're driving 13 days, there's a lot of time in the car where you just want to listen to something and learn. And that's what I did hours and hours and hours of. And I didn't stop when I got to Alaska. In fact, I continued to learn and learn as much as I could. I convinced my dad and my brother that we were going to change our lives and it would require massive movement on our parts. That's what I did. Next step, I changed my income. I started living off 75% of my income, saved 15%, gave 10% to the church, and saved up $25,000 in my IRA. That was a TSP, thrift savings plan for you military folks, and had about 5,000 in my bank account. Clearly not rich, wealthy, or going anywhere on that money. Then I found a 3-unit mobile home park not too far from where we lived, and the owner was selling it for $200,000, wanting $75,000 down. So we emptied our IRAs, bank accounts, convinced my dad to join me. He did 35K, I did 35K. We found the other 5K from credit cards or something, and we bought it. Our first one, 6 months after I started the drive to Alaska, we purchased our first deal, started making $1,100 a month each. $1,100 a month was way better than what I was getting on a single family home that I would spend about 35 grand to buy, renovate, clean up, rent out, and make about $200 to $300 a month. One deal, $1,100 a month. I was like, this is great, but $1,100 a month is not what I need to leave the military. It's not what my dad needs to retire. And so, okay, great. We got a deal done. We need to do another one. So it got better. My next steps turned out to be life changing. Honestly, have no idea how I pulled this off other than by the grace of God. But before closing, even on the first mobile home park, I found a 42 lot mobile home park that was distressed, was listed on LoopNet, which is it's kind of like the MLS for commercial real estate. It's free to get on there. And it was out there $495,000. And I thought, oh my goodness, can I afford a $500,000 place? But the numbers looked fantastic. It was listed that day. I'm in Alaska and I call the broker immediately. He returns my call and I offered him full price for the deal. Never mind the fact that I had $0 because I just spent them all on the other mobile home park. I had no track record other than I just bought a mobile home park. And so I said, hey, we just bought another mobile home park. I love this deal. And started talking active duty military, so forth. P.S. I had no money. Remember, I had no money, but I convinced this broker to sell it to me. And I was going to figure out how to get the money. So they agreed to sell it to us when they had other cash offers. But convinced them, kept talking to him until he agreed. We got it under contract, went out to try and get a loan, and no bank would give us a loan. So I asked him for owner finance. He said no. I kept watching YouTube, learned about master leases, which if you join our program, we'll teach you what master leases are. Fantastic tool in the arsenal. The seller said no. So we tried to get another loan. The seller said, no, we're not going to owner finance. We're not going to master lease it. And finally, after 2 months, couldn't get a loan, came back and said, bro, the park is too distressed. We can't get a loan. You're going to have to master lease it to us on our terms. And sure enough, they agreed. Boom. I got an agreement, but they want $100,000 to get it done. And I was like, oh my goodness, where we're going to get 100 grand. So I asked my dad, hey, you got $45,000 left in your retirement savings? 50 grandish. He agreed. I refinanced our Subaru Outback. It was paid off. My wife was going to kill me. Refinanced it, convinced the bank to give us a line of credit on the previous mobile home park that we had. Did credit card cash advances, pulled up the other $8,000, and boom, we had $100,000. We closed on that 42 unit deal that was barely making it by. We rehabbed the units, filled them up, and holy smokes, folks, within 6, 7 months, we had a cash flowing 12 to $13,000 a month free and clear from that property, meaning I was making about 6 grand a month. My dad was making about 6 grand a month from that one property. It changed our lives and we wanted to do it again. So I thought, oh my goodness, let's do this again. So we found out how to raise money through a vehicle called syndication. We asked some savvy people to partner with me, which was a mistake. They were the wrong people. I'll tell you why another time. But we put down an offer on another mobile home park, created a pitch deck, found a cheap attorney to help us with a syndication. Also a mistake, don't use cheap attorneys because you get a cheap product, which hurts you in the long run. We raised $2.3 million that year and syndicated 7 deals, all the same year that we bought that first mobile home park. Holy smokes, way too fast, wrong deals. We were running around with like scissors in our hands, cutting everything. And regardless, by the end of year one, I was making about $10,000 a month in cash flow. And I turned to my dad, who he and I had grown up, he grew up poor, I grew up poor. I said, Dad, you're a millionaire. And he said, what? I said, Dad, you are a millionaire. And oh my goodness. And he said, Sam, you're a millionaire. I said, yeah. Can you believe that? It's crazy. It happened. 2020, we bought a $1.7 million apartment complex, our first one after COVID wind down. First time we bought a $1 million deal, we raised $800,000 in 4 weeks. Holy smokes, the most money and the fastest we'd ever raised because we were getting after it. Created $15,000 a month in personal income, retired from the military, and syndicated 9 deals in 2021. Like we were cruising. By the end, 9 deals, mix of 8 apartment complexes, land, 1 storage development, 10 mobile home parks. We had $50 million in assets. In 2022, we bought another project, took us over $70 million in assets, and was still making $15,000 a month with everything else going into the company to continue to grow and make us better. But folks, it gets even better. That first mobile home park still cash flows. The second mobile home park is now worth over $2.5 million. And we paid $495 for it. Remember, this summer it should be worth $3.5 million because we're adding more units. You know what, even better? We got paid every single time we syndicated a deal. So not only was I making $15,000 a month from the project, for example, on the last deal that we syndicated, I made $330,000. Ever gotten a check for 330 grand? That'll change your life. So I'm telling you, you can get paid to make money. You're thinking, what are you talking about, Sam? Well, you can. It's called syndication, and it will change your life if you commit and do what you need to do. So after spending years trying different business structures, different asset classes, starting companies, closing companies that didn't work, and chasing honestly all sorts of different things, I realized that no book or mastermind or coaching program teaches you the basic framework for success. So I came up with this framework. And here it is, right? It's choose a path. You may think, well, I need to find out my why. Well, yes, you do need to have some why, something that drives you. But what's your path? Where are you going? Right? You want to change your family and you say, well, I'm, going to retire my parents and I'm going to use stocks to do that. Okay, so your why is your, well, I don't even know what your why is, but your what is you want to retire your family. And the method, the vehicle is stocks. That's going to be crazy difficult. Good luck with that. Um, so if your what is I want financial freedom, then there's a lot of different paths to get there. So you need to choose a path. Once you choose a path, you build your foundation on that path. And in commercial real estate, you need to join some deals, get your some time under your belt, start making some money, and then systemize and monetize to grow it and make it bigger, and then take the lead and run your own projects or your own stuff. Don't be like me and jump in as the I'm doing it all myself and I'm a DIY guy, because you will DIY yourself into massive mistakes that cost you $1 million. There's a better way. So if I had to go back to $0 in my bank and try and make my first $10 million, I would not take 3 years to do it. I'd do it in a year, maybe two. So this is how I do it. First house hack so that I have some cash flow and I'm not trying to put food on my table and worrying about food on my table, right? I joined Wealth Launchers. We have a program that is very inexpensive that teaches people all those steps they need to make. If I would have had that program when I started, oh, it would have saved me so much time and effort. And for the price of our program, 59 bucks a month, is ridiculously low. We used to sell just a portion of this program for $12.50 all the time, but now we are making it almost free. The system is so high tech and awesome, but the system costs us money. So we charge $59 a month. This is a great way to get in and to learn the blueprint so you don't screw things up or make mistakes that you regret 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 years later down the road. Ask me how I know about decisions that you end up regretting because you should have known better, but just nobody taught you this stuff. So I'm here to teach. I like it. I'm really passionate about it. It's exciting for me. It's fun for me. I love teaching. So just because you weren't taught the things you needed to know before is not an excuse for going forward, right? We teach people how to create their first $10 million and then $100 million and beyond. So after I get going and start learning and feel like I'm confident, I would save up enough money and hire an experienced coach or a mentor. They are expensive. They cost money. Why? I'll tell you why. Jeremiah, I charged him $100,000. We spent a lot of time working with Jeremiah very closely. You know what he did? He became a millionaire in a year. Is it worth $100,000 to become a millionaire in a year? That's expensive. I'm not asking you to pay me $100,000. That's where Jeremiah was in his life, and that's what he wanted. He wanted the fast track. We have programs that are far less expensive than that. But if you really are committed, you have the cash, and you want to freaking rock it out of here, that's what we did for him, right? Build your power base. So back up, launch a partner with the best leveraging community. That's why we have a big community of people who are out there doing deals and partnering with each other. You find people who help you with your weaknesses. You find people who know a little bit more than you do. You find people that you like, you fit well with, and you partner with them. And I help people make sure that they don't screw up their partnerships like I did at the very beginning with my deals. I've had partnerships that did not work out. We had to buy out partners. It cost us a mess. Instead of being able to go out and do deals and make a difference in the world and make money, you're dealing with drama that you don't need in your life, right? So launch with partners, build your power base, achieve a minimum of $20,000 a month or $50 million of assets. And then from there, you can really launch as the lead sponsor, 10x, get your $10 million of net worth. And from there, it's much easier to partner with institutional partners and go from 10 million in net worth to $100 million in net worth in just a few short years. That's the blueprint from just here getting started. The next $10 million is it's a different blueprint that we have for people. And then the first $100 million. Now, I know that if you knew how to do this, structure your own company, raise capital from private investors and not go to jail, because there's lots of laws about this, and you had a blueprint to do this, it would change your life, because it changed my life. I did not have a blueprint. And so we created one based off our experience of doing dozens of deals and making a lot of money, millions of dollars, in fact. So Jeremiah, like I told you about, 100K, coached them all through that. He was a real estate broker and very reluctant to join, very reluctant to do the program. And he's in Alaska, very difficult. But within, like I said, 12 months, he added 800,000 to his net income, became a millionaire, or to his net worth, became a millionaire, and was taking home over $10,000 a month. That's in 1 year. He's continued, obviously, because it was a freaking great return on his investment. All right. I was able to coach him through 2 projects, ground up storage, and his first mobile home park. And he's been incredibly successful. Did he have issues? Sure. We all have problems. We face them, we deal with them. And so, where can you start? Or, like, I don't want to spend $100,000, but I want to learn and I want to start getting going. Well, we have a syndication 101 course. We have a mastering commercial real estate syndication, 9 courses, 40 plus lessons. These are all from industry experts like myself that have been doing this for a long time. We have a glossary with all these terms. You can look them up on Google, but the Google answer a lot of times is not fitted for commercial real estate. It's fitted for some other type of investing. So it can be a challenge to understand the lingo. Once you understand the lingo, you can talk to people in a professional way and not sound like a newbie. This is called the Wealth Launcher Program. We have a podcast. We have tons of courses in there. We have a file vault where you can get access to things that I paid $30,000 for, and it's only 59 bucks a month. All right. Gets you the critical documents that you need to build out your foundational knowledge and become knowledgeable and understanding of the market. This is not going to make you $10 million, although following these principles will make you $10 million. At some point, you're going to have to partner with somebody. At some point, you're going to hire a mentor. The people who don't hire mentors are newbies. It's just how it is. They're ones that don't want to go fast. They want to go alone, which is okay. I was there myself. Now I've realized that when I'm in the room with people who are millionaires and billionaires, every single one of them who is growing has a mentor, period. And they're paying a lot of money for those mentors. We don't charge like that because I want it to be accessible to people like me when I started. So this program is only $59 a month. It has a 7-day free trial. It is incredible. There's tons of new courses. We're putting 5 more lessons in there at least every single month, adding tons and tons of stuff. Anything that you want to see, just let us know and we will teach a course on that specific thing, or we will direct you to where the course is in the software. It has its own app. You can do it from your phone. You can listen, you can learn, you can take notes, you can access all the file vault, you can send messages in there to ask questions in the system, or you can just reach out directly to us and we'll happy to answer your questions. So here's some of just a few things that people have said by taking the program. If you go to our website, syndicationlaunch.com, you can see even more stuff on there, but do your research, folks, before you ever commit to a program like this. This one is 7-day free, so you can get in there, you can tool around, you can check it out. If you don't like it, it's through Stripe. You click one button and you're done, you're out. Easy, no problem. Worst case, you spend $59 a month and you learn all about commercial real estate, and it's amazing. It will not only change your life. If I could have had a program like this, holy smokes, I would have saved so much time. Before you work with anyone, you need to make sure that they fit, what kind of values they have, what kind of person they are. Are they real? Or are they fake? We are real here. We will tell you every single dumb thing that I've ever done. There's a lot. I've done a lot of dumb things. That's why we do things differently. We make more money per deal now than we ever have before. We also create better communities than we ever had before. We do better deals than we ever did before. And frankly, I'm too old to work with jerks, so we don't bring jerks in our program. We're pretty exclusive about this and very selective. It's not about money. It's about the quality of life. It's what we can do with the wealth. Wealth is the tool where we create freedom. Through freedom, we can have impact and make a difference. All right. I'm too passionate about making a difference in the world to work with people who only care about the return on investment. If that's you, no offense, I'm happy to connect you with other programs and people out there that will help you make a great return on investment. They're really good. They just aren't impact driven or human focused, and we are. But if you're like people, if you're like me, and if you're someone like me and you're like, I don't want just a program. I want the blueprint. I want people there to help me, to walk with me, to stand shoulder to shoulder, who go to bat for me with a broker and say, because when you're beginning trying to buy stuff, nobody wants to talk to you because you don't have any deals. You haven't done any deals. Whereas I have brokers calling me every single day trying to get me to buy off market deals. And I'm busy. So I'm like, that sounds like a good deal. It doesn't have a big impact. I'm not doing it. But it's because I've closed dozens of deals. So brokers know that I'm a buyer. And so while they may not return your phone call, they are calling me and I'm not returning their phone call. So it's just a different aspect, different place in the world. Also, different lenders aren't going to work with you if you're brand new. You need to have a track record, which is why we work with the best lenders we possibly can. It makes all the difference. So if you're thinking, I don't want a slow path program or a self-paced program, I want the path that gets me faster than even you got there, Sam. I want more. I want $30 million in 3 years. I want $15,000 a month in less than 2 years, or in some cases, I've seen people do this in like 6 months or 8 months. If you're saying, I want to build my own company, I want to choose my own destiny, I want to stop chasing transactions, I want to stop dealing with market issues that rob food off of my table and take clothes off the backs of my kids. I want to stop dealing with highly emotional clients. But most importantly, I want freedom. Freedom to live like I want, freedom to give like I want, freedom to go where I want, when I want. If that's you, if you're like, Sam, I want to do this and I want to do this now, then the owner circle is for you. The owner circle is for people who want to own, who want to be an owner, to operate and to grow and to create massive wealth. And they're not content to do just self-paced stuff. They want more. They want guidance. They want help. They want more. They don't want to go through the process of working with crappy, hard money lenders who are going to take their properties if something goes awry. They want to work with great lenders. They want more. They don't want to learn the hard lessons. They want more. This is some of the stuff our program offers. We operate on something that I don't know of anybody else that does. Our program is $15,000 up front. If you're listening to this right now, it's $15,000 a month. It may be $20,000 a month if you listen to this in March or April because we're raising the price. It's just too low. We give such stupid amount of value that like I'm spending $10,000 or more on each person just trying to help them create the freedom that they want. We also operate on a 50-50 profit sharing model. So you come in, you pay the beginning, and then we work the rest on a 50-50 profit model. We've had guys join us that paid $50,000 a year for their last program, come and join us and say, holy smokes, Sam, this program is so much better than my last program. I'm like, yeah, and I'm charging way too little. I was like, yeah, you're charging way too little. Like, I know, I grew up poor and I want this to be available for people who don't have a lot of money. But at the same time, I run a business and I can't go negative. Like we got to pay. The other thing is that I've never seen a single person come in for free and do the work. Never. We've had numerous people do that in the beginning, bring them in for free because I'm a kind-hearted soul and I want to help them. They don't do the work. They won't do the work. But if I charge them money, they do the work because they commit, especially when they pay 15 grand. They commit and they do the work. And because I want people to actually get the results that they wanted, they have to commit. I want people who can commit. So if you're somebody who can commit to doing that, then reach out to me, Sam at syndicationlaunch.com, and I'll respond and say, hey, great, let's set up a call. Let's talk through it and let's see if I'm the right person for you. And if you're the right person for me, we're pretty picky. If you're a jerk, I'm going to point you to another program because they don't care. They just want money and they'll sign anybody up and teach you the things, how to buy stuff, and hopefully it works out for you. Great. This is your way to make a difference, build a legacy of impact and wealth, then Let's talk. This is some of the stuff that's just included in the $59 program. That's ridiculous. That's a great place for you to start if you're not ready to do the full commitment and so forth. Get your feet wet, learn the basics. And when you're ready, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I make a ton of money in commercial real estate. I love teaching. I do it as a passion project, not as our source of wealth. Our source of wealth is commercial real estate. It's the single best tool there is on this planet to go from nothing to something. If this is you, if you want to learn more, please reach out to us. You can find me Instagram, Clean Money Sam, Facebook, Samuel Sells, LinkedIn, Samuel Sells, any of these different things. Folks, there is no lie, no exaggeration. One of my students made over $700,000 in the past 12 months. All right. Another one just sold his real estate brokerage, has gone full time after working with us for 7 months, full time commercial real estate. In fact, I was just on a call with him and investors before this call. It's amazing. If you're ready, reach out, sam@syndicationlaunch.com or info@syndicationlaunch.com, as you see there on the screen. Find out more about us. You can check me out on LinkedIn, send me a message, and I would love to speak with you. We've got this. We can do an incredible thing in the world and in your lives by utilizing the incredible tools of commercial real estate. Now, I've enjoyed our conversation today. Look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions or feedback, please reach out, send me a note, and your story can be better than my story. And I can't wait to see it. Thank you. Talk soon.